Today we're interviewing Mike Rollen with Ophelia's Blue Vine Farm. Hi, Mike.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, well, it's wonderful to have you here. Can you tell us about yourself and how you became interested in the environment and climate issues?
Yes, I started Ophelia's Blue Vine Farm for my love of farming, and I named it after my grandmother who grew up on a farm in Arkansas. And the reason I got involved was because I saw um, the world changing, and not in a great way as far as it was concerned of in agriculture and food. I wanted my boys to know what real food tasted like, and I wanted other people in the community to know what real food, real organic produce tastes like and the health benefits that go with that. So I started Ophelia's Blue Vine Farm, and we've been urban farming on different lots in the area for over 7 years now.
It's interesting. Did you grow up on a farm yourself? I mean, you mentioned your grandmother. Did you live on her farm or visit that?
Mm. No, actually, my grandmother never. Actually, my grandmother didn't have a farm in the sense of her that was her real occupation. She was a seamstress, but she knew how to farm, and because she had so many children and grandchildren to feed, she always had a farm. And so working, spending the summer with her, learning from her was really kind of what inspired me to want to do that with my children.
That's very cool. So, you said she kind of had a farm. She was a seamstress, but she had a farm. Was that, I mean, like a neighborhood farm or something larger? Was this kind of an urban farm?
It was kind of an urban farm. However, she had a lot of land in the back of her property, and so I remember she would have everything from sweet potatoes to watermelon to um, beans, different types of beans. She would grow corn. Really, and a lot of this stuff, was things that she learned how to farm growing up as a child, learned from her parents. And it was really important because she was able to freeze a lot of her produce and save a lot of money throughout the year, which helped her put her kids through school.
So that old tradition of canning.
Canning and freezing, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you obviously ate these foods, and today you're saying that you want your boys, your kids, to know what this food tastes like. So you've really seen a shift in the foods that we eat, the way they taste, the way they're delivered.
Absolutely. So farming right now is a business is more of a business than anything. They're not really concerned. The big scale farmers aren't really concerned about your health so much as making a buck. Unfortunately, and in some of the different varieties, the varieties that maybe look deformed or maybe aren't bruised really easily, those have been disregarded. Those heirloom type of open pollinated seeds are kind of going the way of the dodo. And so, so for them, they're saying, well, I can make X amount of dollars on all of these tomatoes, and these tomatoes are rubbery, but that's okay, because we're making a buck. And so, in the breeding has, taken away a lot of the look of it, the texture, and whatnot. And I mean, even with things like roses for now, when was the last time you actually smelled a rose that smelled fragrant like your grandmother's English roses?
Yeah.
And so, there was a decision made, when people, oh, these roses have thorns, and taking the thorns away from the roses, also did something else. And so I wanted my kids to have an experience. And so when people taste our produce, they know, this is what good nutritious food should taste like. And then they can go and they can judge from there.
That sounds really lovely. Kind of, my mouth's kind of watering thinking about the whole heirloom tomatoes and such. Tell us more about Ophelia Blue Vine Farm. I know that's named after your grandmother, but you're doing kind of a unique combination of urban farming. I mean, raising crops within an urban area and then selling those to your local communities. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so Ophelia's Blue Vine Farm was again started after my passion for urban farming, and a lot of people think you have to have acres and acres to feed a lot of people. We knew that we didn't have the land to feed everyone to grow everything, but we decided that we could make people's food taste better and we could also, give back to people locally. We can grow a lot of other nutritional things, like we grow the collards, we grow the kale, we grow the tomatoes on a limited scale. But for the most part, our greenhouse specifically focuses on 7 herbs. And from that, we've done a lot of practices that I think are going to be really important leading forward in the future. For instance, we believe in a local food model and keeping food fresh without food really having a lot of miles traveled, because we know what that does on the environment. We lose a pound of carbon dioxide. We'll save a pound of carbon dioxide for every mile that we don't drive. And so when you look at local food, and what people are calling food local is coming from 2 hours away, 200 miles away, and a couple of times a week. So we've developed a system of a greenhouse where people can come up and pick their food up. They can have it delivered, but they can also come and pick it up and pick it up, and I think that's going to have a great impact on the environment. Another thing we're doing is we're heating our greenhouse by growing year round, and our greenhouse runs off of corn. So again, that's something that we can grow. That's something that's going to be better for the environment, and that's something that's going to have a higher quality, be able to put a higher quality food out there year round, and also able to keep costs down for the customer. So in the future, we're also looking at, we're doing some water harvesting strategies, because we know drought and whatnot's an issue. And we're also starting a community composting program, completing that loop where people in the community can come and they can drop off their food scraps. We'll feed them to the worms, we'll compost them, and we'll put them, right back into some good nutritious food. So I think what we're developing right now, although it starts off as one person with one greenhouse on one corner, but could be a model for the whole nation, and make us more food secure, where, we don't have to rely on another country's imports to feed ourselves.
That's great. I mean, all those things are tying into so many different issues in climate change. I mean, you talked about the transportation issues and, locally sourced food, better quality food, getting into composting. You're really bringing a lot of the issues together right there in the neighborhood, where everybody can benefit from it, both the planet and us as individuals benefit. I think that's really great. You're actually the newest member of the Climate Council. What brought you to that group?
Well, I've always wanted to, always loved getting involved with the community. And that's one of the reasons that, traditionally we've never sold at restaurants. We've just survived just selling through the local Ivanhoe Farmers Market and direct to CSA. So, I love interacting with people. I love learning from people, getting involved with the community. And I really love your work and what you guys are doing with the environment. It's really, really important, some important issues out there. And I'd like to get involved. I think this last year, 2 years, actually, I've gotten even more empowered, due to the epidemic, felt a calling actually to really help people and really bring about change. And so, that's been sort of my mission, and I'm just love to put myself around some like-minded people who are really doing what they can to see change.
And that's great. And I really welcome you as a partner of the group, because so much of what you're doing, we need out there. And I'm looking forward to spreading the news about your group, because this is really important to our climate issues. Food's a big issue to me. People want to buy your herbs or whatever. I mean, our other partners, our listeners, people that are just stumbling on this interview, where can we send them to get to your stuff?
OpheliasBlueVineFarm.com, OpheliasBlueVineFarm.com, or OpheliasBlueVine.com. We have both those domains, and you can do a search. I think we're on Yelp as well, but you can go right to our website, and there's different articles. We have pages and pages of information, how you can donate plants, how you can get involved with us, how you can come out to the farm and volunteer, see for yourself, as well as how you can order, and we can have that local product ready for you, fresh, to be picked up, or you can have it delivered if you like. So
That's really great. Where do you see all this going in the future?
That's a great question. I wish I could see the future, but I can't. My hope is that we're going to bring about change in Kansas City and the local food system. And I really believe that. I really believe that us, I think being the first to heat a stove with our original stove, a pellet stove through the winter, I think is it going to inspire some people to grow more through the winter, because they know that it can be done and it can be done affordably. In the past, it's you're dealing with heating with propane, or heating with electrical heating with electricity and the costs associated with that. And so we were able to really try something, and we know now that it works. We know now how to make it more efficient. So I think more people will want to get into the game, and that's a great thing for us because we're going to keep continuing putting food out, putting the best quality out, and being a champion for people, mainly the underserved.
That's great. I really appreciate you spending your time with me today and being with the council in general. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you so much.